Trigger warning. French people! Die of Death is an asymmetrical retro-style horror game that parodies Forsaken and isn't meant to be taken seriously. But not only that, it's easily the most requested game for me to cover. So why not start off with a classic killer analysis? I sent out a community poll asking you guys which killer you wanted to see me analyze first, and the winner was ARTFUL, a French magician. So that's what we'll be doing today. Like and subscribe if you want to see more Die of Death. This game is actually kinda tough. As always, please consider joining my Discord server and following my Roblox profile. You can do both via the links in the description if you're interested. Okay? Thanks.
The fucking baguette-eating dickhead frog!
Since I've only just started playing this game, I'm definitely not the most experienced player, so take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt. Now, I am big and fat and I'm big and fat and ugly enough to know when I suck at a game, and I'll happily tell you that I'm not very good at Die of Death yet. But I think I've learned enough about the game to know what I'm talking about and provide an actually decently thought out opinion. The first thing to remember is that ARTFUL's playstyle is completely different to the other killers. I'm sure you all know ARTFUL's kit entirely revolves around map control, with walls to cut off areas with, music boxes to slow down survivors, and a tool that allows him to repurpose his abilities for other means. I usually start off by going through the abilities, but for this game I'm going to discuss his general stats first, because, let's be honest, they are far more impactful on gameplay here than in Forsaken. Since ARTFUL is literally just a regular guy, he has relatively low health, with 680 in particular for some reason. I don't know why it can't just be 700, but oh well. The killer's health is actually really important in Die of Death though, because damaging and killing the killer is an intended feature that the game actively encourages you to do. Having so little health when every survivor stun attack does so much damage makes ARTFUL an actual victim in this game. I've almost died myself several times, and it's so fucking tedious to deal with. And look, this wouldn't be as much of a problem if using every single one of ARTFUL's abilities didn't require him to stand almost perfectly still. I mean, you might as well staple a welcome mat to your arsehole to let the civilians know you're open for business, bro. What? His health may be pitiful, but it doesn't even pale in comparison to his stamina. Holy good fuck, his stamina bar. Either this prick is morbidly obese, or he just has bad asthma, because ARTFUL cannot run for shit. He has the least stamina out of every killer, with only 90, which is 10 less than a regular civilian. This may not seem like a big deal, but it becomes way more noticeable the more you play. Even if the entire point of ARTFUL's playstyle is speeding himself up and slowing others down so they're easier to catch, he just does not have enough stamina to consistently keep up with civilians, at least in my experience. And take into account, the survivors have plenty of abilities like dash or adrenaline. Adrenaline? What the fuck am I talking about? Like dash or adrenaline that they can use to exploit ARTFUL's lacking stamina, and it's just really not fun to play against. I think it would be reasonable to increase his stamina bar up to 100, no? That seems fair to me, come on. Okay, if there's one thing I'll give him, it's that both his walking and sprinting speed, while on the slower side, suit him just fine. It's balanced enough for my liking. It literally is just his stamina that is the main problem here, okay? So yeah, let's talk about his abilities now. Gonna be honest, I actually don't know why I'm including this in the script, because I have no idea what I can really say about his M1. It deals low, albeit consistent damage on a short cooldown, and I don't really have a problem with it, other than the fact that it takes about 500 years to kill one survivor in particular, which makes ARTFUL feel like a useless slug until you finally get the ball rolling. But apart from that, it's just really bland and boring. It's like the Cheerio of M1s. It's also pretty easy to juke, but you know. Just don't get juked.
Have you ever thought about oiling yourself up for me?
Implement allows ARTFUL to build a wall wherever he's standing after a short wind-up, and I'll admit that these walls are perfect for cutting off irritating looping spots on certain maps, as well as siphoning off entire areas in general. In terms of the map control playstyle they're going for here, I think this ability is super good at its job, most of the time anyway. I also really like how the killers can pass through the walls, because, I mean, if it wasn't designed like that, Implement would be the biggest piece of shit ability of all time, probably. The main problem with ARTFUL's walls is that you're relying on the survivor's stupidity to get any value out of it. I mean, sure, If they screw themselves by backing up into a corner or a cutoff point, then it's a free kill. But not everyone in a server is gonna let you get that advantage over them like that, which can cause major problems during the late game. Oh yeah, and one thing I learned just writing this now is that civilians with the cloak ability can literally pass right through the walls, which, by the way, is insanely overpowered if it's true. I haven't tried it out for myself, but that would mean that those guys can literally counter Artful's entire gimmick at the click of a button. Bro. And all of this is without even mentioning the maps. I have plenty to say about those, but I'll save it for later. Next up is copyright, where Artful places a hovering music box down wherever he's standing after a short wind-up. This one is pretty much the main way that you'll consistently get kills, because by slowing down civilians and making them waste stamina, they obviously become way easier to deal with. The music boxes are honestly your best chance at catching up to survivors, so do not waste these whenever you have them. As long as you place them in popular looping spots or junctions, you can maximize the value that you get from them. There can only be 2 active on the map at any given time, so be wary of that. It's really annoying to me that this ability is designed in a way where you physically cannot place any more of them once you reach max capacity, instead of just destroying the first one. It's such an inconvenience that you have to go out of your way to repurpose a music box to get it off the map in the first place. But, and this is a really big but, in general, I think this ability is very good in the right hands, and it definitely helps Artful with his zoning capabilities. However, I accidentally found counterplay for the music box on my own. I actually discovered that using the bonus pad ability near a music box can actually mitigate the slowness effect of it with its speed boost, which is just like, seriously? That's all it takes? Oh my god. And also, that's not even thinking about dash and adrenaline, I said it right this time, that also allow you to pretty much ignore the slowness effect, which is just super annoying. I'm disappointed that Artful's playstyle gets shut down completely by stuff like this. It's just fucking stupid. Last but not least is Repurpose, easily his most versatile and interesting ability, because essentially it allows Artful to pocket whatever he hits and convert it to another useful tool. So, what can you actually do with this? Pocketing a wall converts it into a projectile that damages and slows down civilians a little bit. And I personally don't ever use this. It's so underwhelming and kind of pointless. It does like no fucking damage at all, so there's literally no point in using it from far away. Although, I could see how it could be a little bit more viable up close. Even when you compare it to just the other usages for this ability, it's far less impactful than it should be. Pocketing a music box converts it into an on-demand temporary speed boost. This one is absolutely the best usage because the speed boost you get is very, very noticeable. You move considerably faster, which is very, very obviously valuable to Artful, who has a few lung problems and can't even run for more than 5 seconds without keeling over. And finally, pocketing a civilian allows you to create a little puppet minion that slowly chases and damages players. And I personally don't mind this one. I find myself using it sometimes just to put on a little bit of pressure, but it takes far more effort to repurpose a moving target than it does with the other two, which is a pretty big disadvantage in retrospect. It just seems like a massive waste of time to go through the entire process of pocketing the survivor and then making the puppet when you could just as easily M1 them a few times and get like way more value out of it, especially if you are that close in the first place. With Artful's abilities done and dusted, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, and oh, I don't mean me. Oh, I'm so big and fat. With all trapper killers comes map dependency, and Artful is no different. I'm pretty sure I've used him on every single map now, and he's mostly fine, but there are definitely a few maps in particular that he struggles on. Oh look, your favourite. Here's my tier list on how I feel about every map in terms of how viable Artful is on each of them. As you can see, I have my favourites. I don't really think I need to go into detail on why most of these maps are placed where they're placed. It's clear to me that Artful's overall biggest weaknesses are both open maps as well as maps that can make good use of his walls on. One of these in particular, Temple, fucking piece of shit, is a blaring culprit of this because there is almost nowhere you can make good use of implement or even copyright, to be honest, due to the entire map basically being a huge loop. HQ is definitely his best map because the entire thing is basically like divided up into separate regions that he can separate into sectors with implement, and it's not that big of a map in general, so that's very good for him. Ironically, the only maps I had trouble ranking were Teapots and Tundra, because you could honestly go either way on those maps. I think Tundra is definitely better, though, if you just block off the little cave area and drop the music boxes near the bridge like I usually do. So yeah, that pretty much concludes the analysis, but how exactly do I feel about him in general? Well, okay, truth be told, I would have more fun and be more satisfied by just using another killer. Artful is just too fragile and exploitable to really be anything special, and while he can be really good sometimes, he feels so slow and clunky and just boring, bro. A slight buff to his stamina might not fix all the issues I have, but it would certainly make Artful much less of a punching bag with acute bronchitis. No, okay. When considering the script for this video, I had to ask myself, why on earth would I spend so much time learning and playing a killer that requires so much effort and brainpower to play well, yet ends up being slow, not fun to play, gets bullied by civilians all game, and is less satisfactory to use than the others when I can just play a killer who's actually likable, easier to play, gets the job done quicker, receives more rewards for being played well, actually makes me feel satisfied when I kill somebody or win, and most importantly, is not French! The answer is that I just shouldn't. I'm not about to slog through like 10 fucking civilian rounds that take about 10 years each, just so that I can play one round as Artful, with a chance I'll just end up on the worst map ever anyway, and honestly, that gun is looking pretty good right now! Now to answer the question. Is Artful the worst killer in dieofdeath? Probably not, to be honest. He's far from perfect in this state, but he's still viable sometimes at least. He just, of course, he requires a lot of brain power to kill survivors, and it takes much longer to get the ball rolling than it takes the other killers. The thing is, I actually like when killers require actual skill in games like this. It's far more satisfying to me, but Artful just does not feel that fun or satisfying to play as, and, you know, I'm sorry about that. That is just my opinion. If you do have any other opinions, make sure to pop them into the nearest bin, where I'll definitely see it. If you want to see more dieofdeath content, make it known in the comments. I still had quite a lot of fun making this video, so, you know, let me know which killer you want to see me look at next. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. What do they say? Au revoir, au revoir, au revoir, monsieur.
Who the fuck are you to turn around and tell me when you work like a pig? You French pig!
My fucking kitchen!
Yeah, is it? Well, it's your fucking kitchen and clean it, you lazy cunt!